In the day, everybody was trying to get a sitcom, man, and that's all they were doing. They were doing these acts. Like, you would get actors who would get into comedy just so they could put together a 7-minute set so they could get a sitcom off of it, and then they would stop doing stand-up. It was a lot of that, but that world dried up when the sitcom dried up.
Yes.
And it happened right around the time that Fear Factor kicked. Yes. Because when Fear Factor kicked in, reality TV show squashed all these sitcoms.
Yes.
You know, which was really funny because some people were, I had an argument with a comic about that. And he's like, man, I just think it's fucked up that you're doing a reality TV show and supporting reality TV. I go, why? He goes, because it takes jobs away from comics that write on sitcoms. I go, hey man, first of all, they're not writers on sitcoms. They're taking a job writing on sitcoms while they're doing stand-up comedy. They're fucking comics, okay? I'm taking a job making people eat animal dicks while I'm doing comedy. The difference is I'm still doing comedy, and these motherfuckers are just looking for some sort of a gravy train to ride off into the sunset. If the show was good, people would watch it instead of these reality shows.
Simple as that.
And then it wouldn't exist anymore. But there was so many bad sitcoms that had opened the door to Real Housewives and all these other things. And the next thing you know, name me 3 sitcoms, go, that are on right now.
Oh, can I take it one step further?
Yeah.
There'll never be another hit sitcom again.
It probably won't.
It is over.
It's probably over.
And I'm walking around the agency that I'm with yesterday, and I'm talking to people, and they don't get it.
No.
Bro, I felt like Christian Bale in The Big Short. I'm just walking around. It's over.
It's over.
Like, do you guys not know?
Yeah.
Like, we need to write a show around you. I'm like, guys. There's no more.
You know what's really over?
Go.
You ever look at the fucking ratings for late night television?
Oh, it's done.
It's crazy.
Bro, this is why put your clips up. Like you just put your clips up. Put your clips up, Instagram, everything. Look, everything that I've done, it's for comics. Like, don't think that like you're copying or anything like that. It's for you. Look at the blueprint.
Yeah.
Copy it, improve it, tell me how you improve it, but empower yourself. That's what this is for.
The blueprint of putting things up on YouTube.
Putting things up, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and like I have a lot of comics that reach out and just ask questions about it. I'm here as a resource for you. Comedy is at its best when we are helping each other. And New York doesn't get that right now just yet.
Well, there's less opportunity.
That's it.
You know, what happened in LA.
But the sitcom thing, bro, you're fucking.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so done. This is how you know it's. You know how I know it's done? What is your favorite scene in a sitcom, or what top 5 scene? Just a scene you loved in a sitcom.
Even though I was in a sitcom for 5 years, I never really watched them.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, I watched Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but that's a single camera. That doesn't.
It's a little different because there's like
no audience.
But like, here, anybody's listening right now, right? Like, you can think of one of your favorite scenes, right? Try to think of how that episode began. You don't know. Try to think about how it ended. You don't know.
Right.
Because the narrative was never important. The narrative was to fill 30 minutes of time. The only thing that was important were the 5 sketches that filled that 30 minutes of time.
22 minutes.
Or 22, yeah, well, exactly. so it's like those 5 sketches don't have to have that bullshit narrative, right?
Right.
So right now, you really just need 4 or 5 friends that are doing the same kind of funny shit. We're already seeing the new sitcom right now. It's already existing on Instagram.
It's just not a good art form. You know, if you watch like The Big Bang or 2.5 Men or any of those.
And those are grandfathered in, right? It's like that came from a time when it was there, but like.
They're not entertaining. They certainly don't stand up. Like, that's also why Netflix kicked in with a lot of their dramas, because they can get away with things on Stranger Things or on Ozark. They can get away with shit you just could never fucking do on regular television. It's way more wild. It's way more raw. It's like you're watching a better movie. They not only because it used to be that if you did film, you didn't want to do television because television sucked. Right? Like television, you do an Airwolf or something like that. You're doing some terrible drama. It's bullshit. It's obvious. You see it coming a mile away. It's made for morons, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, you did film. And if you did film, boy, you got a chance to work with some of the most amazing directors and do these incredible pieces. But Netflix came along. And really, it was before Netflix. Sopranos laid the blueprint.
Exactly.
Sopranos laid the blueprint.
Sopranos.
Yeah, The Wire. I didn't watch The Wire, but it did the same sort of thing.
Right.
They created a new movie every week, and it all went together, and it lasted 100 hours.
Right.
And so you're like, oh my God, well, regular movies is so shallow.
I'm not even getting into the characters, right?
Yeah, this guy's 10 years later, you see him 10 years later in the same movie,
right?
And he's got a beard now. What the fuck is this? This is terrible.
And why is it? Because movies got so expensive to make, you couldn't take risks on stories that we didn't already know about.
Yeah.
Movies became 200 million, right? Or 100 million.
Yep.
Now, if I go to you and I'm like, okay, give me 200 million to make a movie about, it's this mob guy and he's kind of got like some anxiety. You're like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Right, exactly.
But if I say, give me 200 million to make a movie about Marvel, it's like, oh, that has an existing fan base?
Yeah.
Is it based on a book or a comic? So right now, the only movies we see are either big budget that have a built-in audience or $3 million comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That middle ground right there that used to be awesome movies, TV.
Yeah.
So now TV is the shit. It's all these dope stories. Like Breaking Bad should have been a movie.
Right.
But they turned that motherfucker into a TV show.
It's way better as a
way
TV show.
better.
Yeah. And they were restricted because it's cable. It wasn't HBO.
Right.
So it was, and they had commercials and all that stupid shit. Yeah. I mean, what happened was with comics was the internet came along and all of a sudden there was this wealth of avenues where comedians could show their work. Whereas before you were limited by the gatekeepers.
Yes.
The gatekeepers were either sitcoms, and the sitcoms was what everybody wanted to get, because if you got a sitcom, then you were all set. You were Jerry Seinfeld or you were Roseanne.
Yep.
And then it became something along the line, like Russell and you, like both guys, Russell Peters in particular, became gigantic, selling out arenas from YouTube. That's where it came. He put little clips of his shit came up, and if you ever met Russell, he's one of the most generous guys in the world. Super generous and
I know
friendly.
10 comics whose rent he's paid.
He's the best. He's just such a great guy. But he's also a guy that recognizes that you got to give some back. You got to be, and this just has his personality. He's just a gregarious, outgoing guy. All these podcasts that popped up, people realized, like, hey, you know, we're not in competition with each other like Jay Leno and David Letterman were, because everybody wanted the Tonight Show spot.
Right.
Now there's 1,000 Tonight Shows. And if you have the Tonight Show and I have the Tonight Show, I'm like, hey, you should check out Andrew's Tonight Show. It's fucking great.
Boom.
Like, this is okay.
This is the Tonight Show. You're Carson.
But we figured out a way.
You're Carson now. Do you know that, right? That's the difference. That's the shift. That's why Netflix can't even compete. Netflix is done.
They're not done.
Done.
What are you talking about?
You see Charlie Wilson's War?
No.
Movie about Tom Hanks movie about America getting involved with the Afghan conflict, the Afghanistan war. Doesn't really matter. But the idea is this: they're fighting the Russians, the Afghanis, right? So the Americans go, okay, boom, give them a $5,000 rocket launcher, and they're going to shoot down a $5 million helicopter, and eventually Russia just won't be able to compete, right? Netflix pays $100 million to Aaron Sorkin or whoever to make a TV show, right, that distracts you for 2 hours.
Right.
YouTube pays $0 million to Joe Rogan and Jamie to make a podcast that distracts you for 2 hours every day. Netflix cannot compete.
But it's a different animal. You got to realize, first of all, they have way more people than just me. They also are putting together something that requires a lot of money to create.
Sure.
If you enjoy films, or if you enjoy a show like Ozark or Stranger Things,
long for narrative,
it takes a lot of money to make those things. There's special effects, there's camera people and makeup people and hair. There's a lot going on. Writers and directors and producers and actors, and it's a giant fucking tent filled with people.
But people aren't watching it. You know what they're watching?
A lot of people are watching that.
They're watching Friends, bro.
No.
They're watching Friends. Dude, there's a reason they paid
Friends is terrible.
Bro, it doesn't matter if it's terrible. As Jamie, the two most viewed shows on Netflix right now, Netflix doesn't own. Okay? Netflix isn't even trying to make money anymore. They're getting bought out. It's Facebook, Amazon.
Bought out by who?
They want to. That's the goal, the strategy now. They're $10 billion in debt. There's no way they can make money.
They're $10 billion in debt?
10 billion.
Really?
Billion.
But they make hundreds of millions of dollars a month. Like, how many people do they have on board? How many subscribers do they have that are paying $9?
As far as I know, they don't share that information.
They're killing it in terms of subscribers, but they're $10 billion in debt. They just took on another $2 billion, right? When I say Netflix is done, I'm speaking. Anytime I make declarations, I'm speaking in the future, right? I'm like, we prepare now for the future, right? So it's like,
well, how are they? Here it goes.
I knew
Netflix will keep Friends through next year in $100 million.
They're paying $100 million, right? For 1 year of Friends, and then The Office too.
You know what that is, though? That's like nostalgia.
Nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
So all viewing right now is nostalgia.
No, not all viewing.
Bro, if you look at TV, right? What did great this past years in TV, right? The OJ trial on FX. What is that? I remember I was when the OJ thing came out.
Did that do that great?
Killed it.
Really?
Won all the awards, everything. The Versace story, which is another thing. Like,
What? Am I that out of the loop?
I'm just
139 million.
139 million subscribers,
So I just
paying
quick Google.
$10 a month. Is that what it is? How much does it cost?
something like
now?
that. Maybe even more. Maybe 11.
How much does it cost?
They just bumped it up to 12, I think.
$12 a month.
Sure.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a fuckload of income.
Sure.
So they got a lot coming in, but they're spending a lot too because they're trying to
130
they're trying to overtake all the others. And then they got Jeff Bezos, Captain Moneybags up there. Scrooge McDuck
Right.
is trying to do the same thing,
Facebook should buy
which
it.
is where I saw you
Right.
on
Sneaky
Sneaky Pete. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, Andrew.
But that's the thing.
Hey.
Bezos can lose money on this shit because he's
Right.
making tons of money on paper towels.
I wonder
right?
how much he is losing because he's got a lot of fucking series that ain't nobody watching on that.
Just put it out there.
But he's doing something that's even more weird
Okay.
because there's no one watching those shows.
Yeah.
There's a ton of fucking shows on
just data.
Amazon that fucking no one's watching.
Yeah.
I would like to see their numbers because I bet they have some shows that they might have spent $1 million to make and have like 4 viewers.
Yeah.
There's fucking no one watching
No
these
one.
shows.
They were just going after awards. Their thing was, we're going to make the artsiest shit. Hollywood's going to give us a Grammy or something like that, and then it will like qualify our platform. It's a smart approach. Like YouTube's approach was the exact opposite, right? We're just going to create the stuff that we think people want to watch.
Well, YouTube doesn't create much.
They did a little, and they took
Yeah.
down the paywall. Like my guess with YouTube is they're waiting for Netflix. You know that scene in the movie where like that somebody's caught in like enclosed space and water starts coming in, and the water gets right up to like his lips. He's trying to breathe a little bit more, and I think YouTube just is going to be the one to pour the last drop of water in.
Well, I think it's such a different thing. I think you're talking about two totally different things because Netflix has never aimed to be a user-created content streaming site.
Right. They're not. But at the end of the day, it's just distraction. I think that's what we got to start looking at content as. Right? It's just raw distraction, and Netflix occupies a space for distraction that's smaller than YouTube. So I can watch a 2-hour thing on YouTube at home on my TV. I can watch a 2-minute thing on the bus as I'm going to work on YouTube. I can watch a 15-minute, piece like vlog or something like that. I can watch the whole spectrum. Netflix, I'm really just watching at home or like if I'm on a trip. You know what I mean? It's really, I'm not watching a 2-minute thing on Netflix.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is the shit for now. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely the shit for now, right? But if I'm putting my money on it, I would say if I'm Facebook, I buy it. And then imagine having your Facebook feed, you just watch the show, and then you get to share it immediately on your Facebook feed.
If I was Facebook, I'd be super careful about buying anything because I think the government's been thinking about breaking them up for a while.
Oh,
and
really?
Elizabeth Warren is already talking about that. That's one of the parts of her platform in running for president is breaking up Apple, breaking up Facebook, breaking up Twitter. She wants to break up all these things she thinks are monopolies.
What's your feeling on that?
Get the fuck out of here with that.
She
First of all,
is goofy, man.
She's goofy as fuck. What's up?
The Disney takeover of 21st Century Fox takes place, I think, next week, the 20th.
It's a big
Oh, yeah?
one. They're going to put out their own streaming service.
Everything they've bought like everything except for Fox News and Fox Sports.
Yeah.
They
Whoa.
took over all of their production, movie facilities. Like 5,000 people might be losing their job because
But
Disney
all
doesn't
that
need 'em.
content's coming off of Netflix. All those Marvel shows, all that shit is going to come over to them.
Really?
So now they're going to have a nice
Man, I wonder
competition.
if that's why they've been canceling all these Marvel shows
Absolutely.
on Netflix.
Why would I keep investing in something that
Right.
you're going to take off? Like I'm going to build up a brand and then
Right.
you're going to remove it.
Right. You
So-
own it.
So
yeah.
they got all the kids movies. You're a dad. You know what I mean?
Dude, I go to Disneyland twice a year at least.
What, you're going to not have
Yeah.
a streaming Disney program
Well,
for
they
your
all-
kids?
Apple's also starting their streaming service soon.
Right.
One knows
Isn't it, like,
exactly
tomorrow or
when.
some
But
shit?
No one knows when, but there's tons of rumors are coming
Bro,
out today.
they gained,
Yeah.
you know what it's like? You know the perestroika? Like what happened in Russia, like where the overnight, it fell and they sold off the state assets to like a few people and everybody became billionaires.
Right.
Like, that's what's happening right now in entertainment, dude. People don't realize it, but like it's fucking done.